Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you part 2 of the SR4U Boot Awards, highlighting the best soccer cleats / football boots of 2015. If you missed part 1, there'll be an annotation on screen as well as a link down below in the description to that video, so you can go ahead and check it out if you want to start at the very first video in this series. But in this video, like I said, we're going to continue on with the best boots of 2015. Please keep in mind that all of these awards are based on my personal experiences and my personal opinions on each individual shoe. Your experiences and your opinions may be a little bit different from mine, so if they are, feel free to leave your picks for all these different awards down below in the comment section, and we compare everybody's different picks and see what the general consensus is. It's kind of a cool little thing that I like to do with this style of video. So with that being said, let's get into the best soccer cleats of 2015. Part 2. The next award is for the most underrated and overlooked soccer cleat of 2015. Last year we had 2 winners in the form of the Nike Magista Opus and the Under Armour Clutch Fit, and for this year I chose the entire Under Armour lineup. The brand in general, in my opinion, is super underrated at the moment. So what I have right here as the 3 winners are the original Under Armour Clutch Fit that was recently replaced but obviously is still available by the Clutch Fit 2, and of course the Under Armour Speedform CRM. These are 3 shoes that are all very, very good performers and just models that a lot of people don't consider because it is from a brand like Under Armour that's not the most reputable when it comes to their soccer cleat experience, if you will. The Clutch Fit 1 was a great shoe. The Clutch Fit 2 is a nice improvement over the original Clutch Fit. And the Speedform is just a super unique shoe. Definitely could have won Most Unique of 2015 as well. In terms of its kind of very grounded, very connected feel that you have when you wear these things. It has a one-piece internal construction that we've really never seen before, whereas the Clutch Fit is more about underfoot cushioning, which is kind of unusual for a pair of soccer cleats, but also this Clutch Fit upper that just makes for a very unique elasticated fit and a level of comfort that you wouldn't expect to have from a thin synthetic shoe like this. So overall, you're really getting top-end performance, top-end comfort, and just a great quality shoe from any of the current top-end models from Under Armour. So if you're looking for something that's really, really good that you're not seeing many people actually wear right now, anything from Under Armour, the Clutch Fit 1, 2, or Speedform models are definitely something to consider. They are, in my opinion, the most underrated shoes of 2015. The next award is for the best update of 2015. This implies a shoe that has improved dramatically coming from the previous model that was obviously part of the same line. Last year, the winners were the Adidas Predator Instinct and the Adidas 11 Pro 3, both fantastic improvements over their previous models. But this year, I have 2 winners once again, the Nike Tiempo Legend 6, which of course replaced the Tiempo Legend 5, and the Puma Evo Speed 1.4, which replaced the Evo Speed 1.3. The Legend 6, it's a shoe that really surprised me in terms of how it actually performs. I was a huge fan of the Legend 5 and didn't think that there was much they could improve on, but they managed to do it. This is a shoe that feels every bit as comfortable, is every bit as high quality, performs every bit as well, but is also more responsive. So if anything, it's just as good a shoe, but the performance is that much better. So for me, it's a fantastic update coming over the Legend 5. The Legend 5 is still a great shoe, but the Legend 6 really is that much better. With the Evo Speed 1.4, the jump from the Evo Speed 1.3 is significant. It still features the same sole plate and stud pattern, which I really never had any issues with, but the upper is dramatically improved, both in terms of touch, quality, as well as comfort. The Evo Speed line has always been somewhat of a letdown when it comes to the quality of the synthetic, and like I said, that has been improved dramatically with the Evo Speed 1.4 to the point where it's one of my personal favorite thin synthetic shoes to wear. It fits really well. It's not quite as narrow and snug as a lot of thin synthetic shoes out there, so a lot more people will find these more comfortable than something like a Nike Mercurial Vapor 10 or even an Adidas X15.1. It's nice and lightweight. It's very natural on your feet. It's flexible. The upper is great. And like I said, it just has a lot going for it. Again, it's one of those shoes that a lot of people don't really pay that much attention to. So you could also argue that it's one of the more underrated shoes of 2015. But for me, the 2 best updates coming from their previous models for 2015 are definitely the Nike Tiempo Legend 6 and the Evo Speed 1.4 from Puma. The next award isn't really an award. It's for the most disappointing soccer cleat of 2015. This implies a new shoe that came out that didn't really live up to the expectations that a lot of people, including myself, had for those particular shoes. Last year, there were two winners in the form of the Adidas F50 Adizero Crazy Light and the Puma Evo Speed 1.3, but for 2015, I have two more winners once again, which include the New Balance Furon, as well as the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2. Now, the New Balance Furon was obviously a brand new release when kind of Warrior did their rebranding process, going from Warrior to New Balance and introducing two brand new shoes, the Vizaro and the Furon. The Vizaro is an absolutely fantastic shoe, very reminiscent of the original Nike Hypervenom Phantom, where the Furon is not the greatest model, if I'm completely honest with you guys. And I'm being a little bit harsh kind of including this as one of the most disappointing shoes of 2015, because I definitely think the Phantom 2 disappointed a lot more people. But for me, based on the look of the shoe and the design, I expected more from it, especially considering how good the Vizaro was. It's a shoe that doesn't really fit the greatest. It has a really unusual shape to it, and the actual synthetic they used is just not up to the same standards as other thin synthetic shoes out there. It lacks flexibility, it lacks any kind of softness, and it just feels extremely rigid on your feet. It's one of the few shoes this year that I never managed to get a comfortable fit in. I could only wear these maybe a half hour at a time until I had to take them off just due to severe foot cramping, because the material has absolutely no give to it. I know there are people that are wearing this shoe and actually like them, but for me personally, and for a lot of people out there, the New Balance Furon was a bit of a disappointment for 2015. Next, of course, we have the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2, which I'm going to say right off the bat is not a bad shoe at all. But in comparison to the original Nike Hypervenom Phantom, it's completely different and not what I think most people were expecting, especially people who were big fans of the original Phantom, including myself. Now, the original Phantom was an interesting shoe because it was technically flawed from a performance standpoint. It lacked structure, it had a ton of rollover, and it just wasn't as responsive as it should have been for a top-end model. They addressed all those issues with the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2. If anything, it's a much better performer than the original Phantom. But unfortunately, with all the changes that they made, especially to the upper, with it being a lot stiffer but still maintaining the Nike Skin name, the shoe just doesn't have the same type of feel that we got from the original Phantom that made it so popular in the first place. The upper is stiff, it's fairly rigid, and again, kind of like the Furon, it lacks any kind of softness. Again, it's not a bad thing. You can still get a comfortable fit from this shoe, but for a lot of people that really enjoyed the Hypervenom Phantom 1, this is just not what you're looking for. Plus, they incorporated the mid-cut design, which again is not a negative thing, but kind of unnecessary when it comes to this particular shoe. But of course, if you don't want the mid-cut design, they do offer the Hypervenom finish, which essentially is the same shoe with a standard low cut. So for me, the two most disappointing shoes of 2015 have to be the New Balance Furon and the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2. The next award is for the best colorway of 2015. Now, last year the winner was the Nike Mercurial Superfly, which in 2014, the first 5 or 6 colorway releases were really good, all very well received, which is why it got the award. For 2015, we saw more colorways from ever, from all the different brands. But for me, the one that was by far the most popular, both in terms of views that I got on my channel, as well as just general popularity in sales, it has to be the Nike Academy pack, which is interesting because it really lacks color in general. It's pretty much a blackout pack. So it consisted of the Vapor 10, the Legend 5, the Superfly 4, the Obra, at the time the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 1, but since they have released the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2 completely blacked out as well, and of course the Nike Magista Opus. So obviously a very cool pack. The idea behind it was for Nike's Academy players that are supposed to be wearing blacked out shoes, and like I said, it was extremely well received. People always want the vibrant colors, but every once in a while, it's really nice to see them release something completely blacked out that's just a little bit more subtle, a little bit more low profile. And with all the crazy colors floating around right now, wearing an all black Superfly or an all black Obra or just an all black shoe in general arguably stands out more than a neon yellow shoe does. So for me, best colorway pack of 2015 has to be the Nike Academy pack, but I'd be curious to hear what your opinions are down below in the comment section. The next award that also isn't really an award is for the worst colorway of 2015. In 2014, the award went to the Blaugrana Adidas F50 Adizero, which was a messy signature colorway that most people would agree just wasn't very good looking. For 2015, there were lots and lots of contenders, but based on comments and feedback that I got from my videos, because I made videos on just about everything, these are the winners. The second TechCraft pack from Nike, which consisted of canvas, Volt Yellow, and of course black. This is a pack that honestly, for me personally, I quite like the look of, but the general consensus seems to be that these are not very good looking shoes. The combination of this canvas brown, almost cowboy boot color, and bright Volt Yellow, a lot of people just don't seem to like. So for me, worst colorway of 2015 has to be the second TechCraft pack. With that being said, there are some honorable mentions. The Adidas Messi 15.1, which is a shoe that I don't think suffered from bad colorways, but I think does suffer from not the greatest looks. A lot of people just don't like how that shoe looks, which means they're not going to like the colorways very much. And another honorable mention goes out to the Adidas X 15.1 when it first came out. If you guys remember back several months now, when that shoe was first unveiled, people really didn't like how they look. But since then, with more colorways being released, it really seems to be growing on people. I wasn't a fan of it at first, but I really like the look of that shoe now. It's very unique, very interesting. So that's the reason why I didn't pick it as worst colorway of 2015, which is why these guys are the winners. The Canvas and Volt TechCraft pack from Nike. All right, guys, that is it for part 2 of the SR4U Boot Awards. Again, if you missed part 1, there'll be an annotation on screen as well as a link down below in the description. And if you want to move on to part 3, there will also be an annotation on screen and a link down below in the description. So go ahead and watch either of those 2 videos in the series if you want to see what other boots win other awards. With that being said, guys, if you have any questions at all regarding any of the shoes in today's video or any of the awards, leave your questions down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, feel free to share your picks on all the individual awards, and we can see how your opinion differs from mine as well as everybody else's. Kind of an interesting little thing. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.